and welcome to this week's edition of Finweek Money Matters. Remember, this is the show that helps you manage your finances. I'm Dumisho Greater. On the show today, we'll be taking a look at the impact of introducing a national minimum wage. Then we'll discuss the outlook for paper and packaging producer Mondi. And then we're looking at the troubled financials of the parastatals like Petro SA and the issues that are hampering the oil and gas exploration sector. But before we get into all of that, do remember that we welcome your comments and any feedback. You can send it to us to moneymatters@abn360.com. But first, let's take a look at the trade of the week. South African-based packaging and paper company Mondi's share price has risen nearly sixfold since 2011, from 54 Rand to almost 300 Rand. Now, this is despite the issues that are currently facing the industry globally. Mondi has grown its dividends and managed to pay out shareholders 9% more than the previous year. Joining us to take a look at the outlook for Mondi is Finweek contributor Moxima Gama, who joins us live from our Cape Town studios. Moxima, thanks so much for joining us. Looking at that particular sector, of course, paper producers and suppliers have been under pressure, but what has Mondi been able to do differently?
Well, to me, it's kind of it's all kind of known that the paperless, times are changing and people are moving away from reading their newspapers and magazines into like looking at them on their iPhones, or on their phones generally, or the iPad, so which has inevitably increased supply and decreased that demand. But Mondi obviously saw through this, and they then started to move away from being just a paper supplier because of our huge industry, forestry industry, and then looking at beefing up their packaging assets and spreading their wings globally. So that has benefited them hugely. They also kind of invested in speciality paper, which is pretty much known for its huge growth potential and also the high margins, profit margins.
You mentioned spreading their wings globally. They've been particularly active in terms of acquisition and projects in Central Europe. Maybe just give us more color around that.
Okay, when they started investing in Europe, it was a big question mark because of the economic downturn. Things have since changed. There is a turnaround and consumer spending has increased. So the initial reason why they got into Europe was because of the low-cost operations and that expanding market that they're currently in. And at present, they're now benefiting at least from the production and energy efficiency. And also the direction of the rand, or that volatility, has helped to offset the low paper cost prices. Another benefit in them getting into at least Europe and Russia was because of that craft line packaging, which is doing pretty well for them. There's an increase in prices and demand for that, so that's helping them at least with the consistent increase in profits.
It sounds very positive, Moxima. Just two very quick questions for you. One, are they able to sustain this momentum? And two, if we were able to see a decline in the share price, should investors see this as a selling opportunity and get out?
Well, Mondi is overextended. It has been, as you had mentioned, it's surged sixfold, which puts it in a very overextended position on all the charts. It has taken a bit of a breather, I would think, in a form of a symmetrical triangle, if you could see the chart. So if it does break upwards, because in such a situation it could either break upwards or downwards, so an upward break above at least at 305 could see, I would assume, the last leg of that upside to at least the 350 mark. So you'd at least enjoy that upside. But on the negative end is that if it just broke below 270, that would then a correction that is due because it is overextended. So we could see it go to around those 225 levels. So it's pretty much a wait and see until either level is breached before you get in. I would strongly suggest to sell if it does negatively break out, because that would then trigger a medium-term correction. So just watch out for that. But at least above 305, which it looks like it might then breach, we could see gains to at least a 350, and that would be the last leg, I would assume, of that uptrend.
Moxima, thanks so much for that. Of course, that was the Finweek contributor Moxima Gama giving us the punt for the week. Up next, let's unpack this week's cover story.